I felt like I didn't really belong. I think that eroded my confidence over the years to a point where I didn't even want to try. Yeah. I invariably come back to like, I should have backed myself. If you see a problem and you can creatively solve the problem, what's wrong with that? But it turns out if you actually try to do things, it is possible to have impact.
Put yourself in the rooms that make you uncomfortable, because that's the best place you can be. So I need to give the audience a quick who you are, why are you here, why are we talking, why are you from Australia in Detroit, Michigan, in the coolest podcast studio in Metro Detroit? I don't really know. We're going to tell them that. I've coined it that. I don't know. I don't really know if that's true.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I paid everyone to tell you, at least on the way. So I belong to a mastermind group called Board of Advisors, Matt Potts. We met in Dallas. He's also from Australia. We hit it off immediately. He's the best. And then he just messaged me like a week ago and he was like, bro, I have a guy coming, a friend coming to Detroit that you should get on your podcast. And I was like, dude, let's do it. And then we texted and then I forgot to text the group back for like a week. Pretty sure that's how it happened. And then I was like, oh, and then David texted me on Friday. He's like, bro, like, don't forget. I was like, oh crap. It's like gonna be here like tomorrow. And then we texted and then you lost your keys.
Yes.
But you found them.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
Yeah.
And you're a legend. You're a serial entrepreneur. You're building an incredible transportation company. You have stuff in business funding. You have, I mean, like when you sent me your bio, it was like, oh, so this guy's been busy.
Yeah, I guess.
Like you've been killing it.
Yeah, like when we were talking before, I think you just try a lot of stuff and if it works, right? Like, I don't know. I think growing up in Australia in a small place, you look at the rest of the world usually through your TV and think, I grew up in like MTV era or, we would see shows or reality TV or whatever and think, wow, like the whole world is so big and there's so much going on. Australia is so, removed and insignificant and out of the spotlight and we don't really register over here. And so you just wish one day you could travel or see things or do things or build things. And then it turns out, I don't know what you think, but it turns out if you actually try to do things, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it is possible. It is possible to do things and have impact. And, if you want, I think something about our psyche in Australia, and this could be because we're a young country where we started off as a convict colony. I don't know if you know that, where all the naughty people got sent for stealing loaves of bread and stuff. Anyway, I don't know if it's that's like etched into the whole fabric of our societies where we have like this lack mindset where it's, we'll never really be good enough or we'll never really have enough or we'll never really get access to whatever it is. And if you do sort of start to get successful or you do start to, do anything significant, then we're a bit like crabs at the barrel and we want to kind of, we make fun of people like that and we don't know how to deal with it. And so what I kind of love about being in the States is that everyone thinks bigger. Everyone has this positivity and this, I don't know, like
I think it's possible.
Make it. Yeah. And I love that.
I mean, it's just coined the classic American dream. Like there's been talks in American, the American dream is dead. It's like, it's not, man. Like the American dream is not dead. Like I was an insurance rep turned podcast agency. Now we're growing the fastest growing podcast agency in the Northeast. Like American dream is not dead. Like I grew up in a small town in Ohio. Like, no, like just, you know what I mean? Like I shouldn't be in the position that I'm in now. And so, but you're right. Like there's always the back of the mind where I was like, oh yeah, that there's a chance to do something special here.
Yeah.
And even like the connections, the reason why we're munching on pastries. So like shout out Bakehouse 46, Blake Farms, good bakery. We're hosting an event next week. I don't know when your podcast is going to be out. It's probably going to be out next Friday, a week from Friday. And so I think we're going to already have the event by the time this podcast airs. But yeah, we're munching on snacks. They're pretty good. First time ever happened to apple cider donut. And you like the sugar one.
I like them both. I'm getting through this one and I like
Yeah,
them
you just
both.
got to pace yourself
Yeah.
on the.
Yeah.
We have, you guys can't see it, but we have a full on like snack spread back there.
It's great.
Yeah. But so shout out Blake's. So tell me, you know, I like to, a lot of my listeners are entrepreneurs. A lot of them are young entrepreneurs. If you wouldn't mind just giving me kind of like some of the big wins in your career, some things that you're really proud about. This is actually like a really good opportunity to brag because what this does is actually like just lends credibility to like what you've done. So like anything you're proud of doesn't have to be like, oh, I've made $500 billion, right? Like some things that you've been proud of, you're like, man, like never thought we'd be here. Did these things I'm proud of. And then we can also talk about challenges and struggles and all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, dude, like what are some things that you've built that you're proud of? Where are you at now? What are you building? All that kind of stuff.
As an Australian, we struggle to talk about anything that we've done. It's not really what we do.
I'm gonna pull you out and pull it out of you.
Yeah, I'll
This
try
is
my
a safe
best.
space. Safe
All right.
space.
Because I'm 40. Okay, true story. Today is my birthday.
Dude,
Yeah. In
happy
the States,
birthday.
Yeah. So
and you're
I'm
40.
43.
43.
Yeah.
You're old, bro.
I know.
Dude,
I know.
you're 43.
Yes.
Happy birthday. What are we doing for dinner?
Well,
I'm taking you out. We're gonna figure it out.
Sounds good.
Okay. More donuts.
Great. I don't know. I grew up with so much privilege in Australia. You know, I think our standard of life is awesome. Our schools are awesome. I grew up with just surrounded by a great family and good things. And I don't know. I really struggled with self-confidence, and I think you know, I lived in a place where most of the people were sort of, I guess, white Australians, and there was a certain culture around that. And for someone who was from parents from other countries, I felt like I didn't really belong. We didn't have a big family, so that was all quite difficult. And subconsciously, I think that eroded my confidence over the years to a point where I just didn't feel like anything I did would ever be successful, or I didn't even want to try.
Yeah.
And I remember in high school, I was kind of I just stopped trying. Not consciously, but I remember getting in trouble a lot from my parents. But I just felt like, what's the point? Because I'll never be as good, or that whole thing. So I think it was really, I started going along to church with some friends in high school, and that kind of started to change how I thought about those things because, we, I guess, were able to get involved and participate in putting on things like events or services or whatever. And as a kid, that started giving me confidence. And I found that I was actually, I really liked people. I loved getting together with folks and, whether it was running an event or whatever, I quite enjoyed it. And so kind of like fast forward to a few years later, and I was working with a really small team. We were running like big music festivals in Sydney, and, the biggest city in Australia. And we were able to, essentially fill stadiums with people and, run these incredible events. And like, I kind of look back and think as a kid with no idea, like I'm pretty proud of that. And it was never just me, it was a team of people. There's always,
sure.
There's always a lot of people involved. So yeah, I don't know. I just I think the biggest achievement is being able to like mindset shift and kind of, and find your thing, find whatever's, in your hand that you're good at and just, chase it and yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about, well, first of all, this is what I'm going to do.
Oh.
Because I think one of the things that, and Matt warned me about this, you're gonna undersell yourself. And I want people to know, dude, you're doing some really cool things, and like you're in the States, you're looking to build relationships in a new company that you're building. Tell me a little bit about like the new company that you're building, because I want to.
Yeah.
Well, let me first do this, because you texted me your bio, you didn't even realize you texted this. And I want people to know, kind of like this is what you said.
Okay.
Off air, because I love doing this to people because it makes them uncomfortable, and I want people to know that like you've done a lot of really cool things. Serial ideas guy, you built a few companies. You're do me and you too. We're addicted to the rush. That's what you said. It's a bad thing, actually, but it's a good thing. My wife sometimes.
There are worse things.
Yeah. There are worse things. And you have your day jobs in transport tech that I'd love to know about that.
Yeah.
You're growing fast. And then your side hustle is an investment fund for tech companies.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then you have a wife and a 2-year-old and a dog.
I do.
And you live in Newcastle, right?
Yes.
You like coffee and wine.
Yep.
You talk too much.
Yep.
You're like the perfect podcaster, bro.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So like what? So I wanted to talk about you for you because you're doing some really cool stuff. I want to know 2 things. Tell me about the company that you're in here, like why you're into States, and then I'd love to know about the side hustle investment thing. Like, tell me about that.
So I work with Compass IoT. I can go into the backstory there, but incredible small group of people started out of a basement at a university, and it's funny, we only just got our first office, so we feel like we're growing up. But anyway, we help people that manage roads and transport systems make them better and make them safer. And the way that we do that is that most new vehicles, especially we're in Detroit, which is like the home of manufacturing cars, really. Most new vehicles are internet connected. What it means is they're actually almost like these big sensors that are just like passively, just absorbing all of this data about the road and about how people drive and all the time. And so if you think about IoT, like the Internet of Things and all of the ways different devices are connected, your phone is obviously, internet connected and collecting lots of information all the time. Your car is kind of the same. Yeah. So we essentially write software for vehicles so that we can synthesize and interpret all of those data points and make them make sense. So, for example, a way that we're helping is that if you are someone that every sort of state or county would manage their signals, right? Like you've got traffic lights and you've got corridors with lots of intersections and traffic lights, and it's someone's job to make sure they turn green and turn red when they're supposed to. It's a whole complex thing, and I guess traditionally you would need to send someone out in a car and drive all of these corridors and go, yes, this is how long it took me, and here are the things we could fix, and blah blah blah. Now you could just use data to understand instantly, I guess, what you're doing and the effect of any sort of system changes that you're making. And all of that stuff creates a lot of efficiency, but it also creates a lot of opportunity to make things better and make things safer. So that's the space that we're working in. I won't say any more about that because it's already kind of like word dumped on you.
No, that's great. I tracked. I mean, so what's interesting to me about like business is, people say there's riches in the niches. I don't know if you've heard that before, right? There's riches in the niches. And it's like, dude, this is like a perfect example of how something that's used every single day, which is a car, traffic lights, there's data and information, and a company could not only just succeed, but thrive figuring that out so that we could be safer, more efficient. And it's like something that I would have never thought of, like, who's monitoring this data? Who's making, like, and that's why I love doing this podcast. I'm like, dude, it makes sense. And so what do you guys do? So you take the data and then is it help for road building when it comes to like the actual construction of roads and how things work and go together? Is it like how long a stoplight should be? Is it like all that kind of stuff?
All that kind of stuff.
That's sick.
I don't know. I drove a Tesla here, and I mean, if any of your listeners,
or did it drive you?
It probably would have been safer. I really like driving in the States, by the way, because you guys go fast.
And
I like it.
Especially in Detroit, bro. Actually, if you go north like 2 hours, the speed limit's 75 miles per hour, which means that you can actually go like 85 miles per hour without the cops pulling you over. Yeah. I was just there this past weekend, dude. It's going like 87. I don't know if I should admit that on there.
So
what's that in kilometers, by the way?
75 miles in kilometers must be something like 130, which is very fast for us Australians. We drive slower than that.
Yeah, so you have fun in a Tesla too, because that gets some punch.
They do.
Yeah.
It does, yeah. So essentially every second it's sending about 250 or so pieces of metadata back to the manufacturer about your tire pressure, about what's playing on the radio, about how up or down your windows are, who's got a seatbelt clicked in, what the outside temperature is, all of that stuff. And so, it's really interesting. In Australia, one of the things we're doing is analyzing like wildlife accidents. So where you have deer and things here, we have kangaroos, and it's sad, but people hit kangaroos in cars and it's a thing.
So I'm not trying to laugh. It's just so random.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Very random. But yeah, so we're able to, we're able to tell where are these things clustering, where are these happening. And it helps us to literally just do simple stuff like put up fences or make some sort of mitigation.
And you're getting that information because of the car's data. And so you're able to say, oh, dude, like there's been like 30 crashes, kangaroo crashes in this area, then you can, or whatever. And then you can.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we can really see trends and patterns and all of those things. Imagine like, I guess a bird's eye view of the whole network. And you can sort of, if you're in that world, in the transport world, it's really interesting. The other thing, I mean, there's so many different ways to apply this. Again, like your phone can do so much, and it's just like, when I don't know if you remember, like kind of the internet becoming a real thing, and at the beginning, the websites were very like static, and they used to kind of just be documents on a web page, and that was cool. And then people figured out how to make them more dynamic, and then smartphones became a thing, and apps became a thing, and it starts to really, really get the things you can do with you can Shazam a song, you can call an Uber, you can
now there's face filters and you can change your face and
So I think it's kind of like that, right? It's a frontier of like there's so many things that could be happening that could make things better in terms of transport. So looking at occupancy, right? Like if you're able to know on average how many people are in all of the cars that are kind of driving around the place, you could tweak and adjust policy so that there's more efficiency there. So there's less cars on the road because people are, jumping in cars together, or you can incentivize people to use transit instead of their car, and because where they're going from and to, and all of those things become a lot easier to do. And so I think in a world where we're trying to get more out of everything, and we're trying to cram more people into our cities, and we're trying to, make life better for everyone, it is actually possible because now we can leverage data in a way that's, and especially with
actually helpful.
Yeah. So, I think we're scratching the surface. In Australia, one of the things that we're doing, which is super exciting to me, is, exciting for me. I don't know if it's going to be exciting for everyone.
Thrilling.
But we basically pay for our roads and our maintenance of our roads through something called a fuel excise tax. Essentially, when you fill up your car with fuel.
It's like fighting words for Americans, by the way.
Sorry.
But no, continue. Yeah. Tax is like, all right. No.
Well, you sorry, but you guys, you have that too. So I do. A portion of what you pay in fuel goes to the agency that manages your road, and that's what happens. In Australia, what we're doing is transitioning to letting our vehicle tell us where it's been, so you can be charged for the roads that you drive on and not for the ones that you don't. Say you live on a farm and you
mean for the taxes? Okay.
So fuel no longer becomes like a source of revenue for the agency. It becomes, your car is sort of reporting. It becomes more fair, so that you sort of know if you've driven on a road that is owned by agency A as opposed to agency B, then, in theory, the money can go to where it's needed and where it's being used. And if you have your own private land and you're driving on that, you wouldn't get charged for it. Things like that. So really, really making things more fair, making sure, there's better distribution of, revenue and things like that. I guess it's exciting to me because, I think, like I said before, we're trying to get more out of life. We're trying to get more people into our cities and trying to get more out of our assets.
Yeah, be more efficient.
Yeah.
How do you deal with, so like in America, like a big thing is like freedom. No, we don't like government overreach. We don't like our data being, so how, in order for that to really function well, like everyone would be needing to drive cars that have, trackable data, because like an old truck from 1960 probably wouldn't be able to report anything. How do you balance, like I know you're not in America, so I'm an American talking to an Australian. I think the immediate concern when I hear that is like, great, so now everywhere I go is being tracked. Everything I do is being tracked, every road. And that instills more fear into me than like, oh good, I get to save on taxes. So like, have you found that, because like, but then I say that, but I have my phone on me, it's probably doing the exact same thing. And so like, I think that's been a big debate in America is like, so this outcome could be good, but are we willing to give up the freedom to achieve this outcome? And I think that's when you talk to Americans, that's going to be a lot of our first, like, in theory, I think that sounds great, but government's corrupt, a lot of times government programs suck. They're not efficient with their tax dollars. And like, I don't know if I just want to give them more data that they know where I drive. Have you guys gone through that at all in Australia? Is that like a political system thing? And like, where do you find that balance between like trying to help people, but then also like understanding you don't want to just evade people's privacy too?
Totally. There's a few sides to it. I think you're absolutely right, and we do talk about this all the time. I think the first thing you can do is realize that your phone and your fridge and whatever else is IoT connected is reporting on you all the time. Your TV, so think about that.
Yep.
But the second thing would be like, I think the antidote to all of this stuff is consent. Like we don't have people that don't say yes. It absolutely unequivocally say, yes, I consent to this happening. And the reason for that, I guess, is that, like I think it's important to allow people to decide what happens with their own data. I do think that's important. And so that's how we operate, and I guess it comes down to those terms and conditions. If you want to read those, I mean, it's a little easier now. You can just plug a document into Claude and say, hey, what is the risk? And it'll tell you. But yeah, I think consent is the thing. I think, but I guess the trade-off there is that we don't have data for every single vehicle. Like you said, the 1960 FJ or whatever it is driving down the road isn't going to be reporting every once a second on all of its data because it doesn't have sensors. And so I guess if you can imagine a bunch of traffic traveling down the freeway, you don't kind of need every car to be telling you that everyone's doing 60 miles an hour. Right. You just need a couple like sprinkled through there, right? And so if you have sort of, 1, 2, 3% of all cars kind of reporting this kind of stuff, then at least you've got a picture. And that's kind of where we live at the moment and where we operate. I think obviously people should be educated and aware of what's happening to their data because it does make a difference. And of course, people will use it maybe against you in the future or it's really hard to tell how this is going to unfold.
Yeah.
But from my perspective and from where we are, we definitely operate with consent.
And I think that makes, like I'm pro, like very much like, listen, if we have the data, people know, like, let's use it to the best that we possibly can. What gets me a little nervous is like, I see a world where like in 10 years, the government says only these types of cars are going to be allowed to be driven on the road because if you're not, then we can't track you. Like that's what makes me nervous because I'm like, I kind of want to be able to go drive to my friend's house without the government knowing I'm driving to my friend's house. Like, so what scares me, and the same with like AI, same with phone tracking, same with, which actually like why blockchain, the technology of blockchain interests me on like actual decrypted data. Like, because again, I'm a very big, like, your classic, like big government's really bad. Like in America, we have like conservative, liberal. I'm more like whatever gets the government out of my life more. I'm whatever that is, and so like states' rights, like I'm very much like each state should be the main governing body. That's kind of like what the United States, like that's our big thing.
It is.
And I think we've really pushed the needle on like getting rid of that and having just like one big government, which is exactly the opposite of what makes us different, is the fact that we're supposed to have like different states that like, if you don't like the rules of your state, you can move.
Yeah.
But then when you have federal programs that are like, so that's the issue we're having right now in American politics. There's like this big battle between like states' rights versus what should be federal. And what always just gets me nervous about like data is like, dude, like it actually makes me more nervous than excited to be like one day I will never be able to pick up my kid from school without the government knowing I'm picking up my kid from school. And because I see a world where they just outlaw any other car that doesn't work with the terms and conditions. So like that's in America, Paul. Like I just see that vision where they would just be like, yeah, you can consent, but the only car that you're allowed to drive is the one that we tell you to. So I get nervous and stuff like that. That's not what you guys are doing. I'm like, what you guys are doing makes tons of sense because we need it.
Yeah.
It's taking the data that we have and then making things safer for people.
Yeah.
I'm not I think what you guys are doing is amazing and needed and is awesome. I'm just thinking from like the bigger holistic, like
Yeah.
it makes me slightly nervous, like even with the phone thing, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I still don't really know how because I'm pretty sure I've turned off all possible permissions. But like, I swear I'll say something and then an ad pops up. I'm like, dude, so I know that they're listening to everything we're saying anyway. And I'm not even really sure how to turn that off because I've tried. Like just the other day I was talking about something and the next thing you know, I'm on Facebook and the first ad is something that we were talking about in a conversation. I'm like, that's wild, dude.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that before? Like when you talk about
Yeah.
something on your phone and then all of a sudden like,
Yeah.
you're like,
I've read a lot of theories about like how that works, and I'm not super across. Like I guess I live and work in that world now a little bit more, but yeah, I don't really know exactly how companies are doing that. I would say definitely one way is when you click that accept all cookies button.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
ever. It's just
Yeah, no.
don't do it. That's a surefire way
yeah, everything goes.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I think for us in Australia, I think I feel grateful that, we do have a fairly fair and considerate system. And for people that want to drive their old car and do that, you can fill out a paper logbook in happy days.
Nice.
I think it's a good example would be a little, maybe 5-10 years ago, we all started issuing digital licenses, driver's licenses. So instead of a card, you would get your app on your phone and you could have it there. The convenience of that, obviously, helpful. Also, there are people that won't want to use an app and won't want to use a smartphone. Like my mom, she just doesn't want to use a smartphone for her license, and that's fine. So there are two ways to do it. You can have a card, or you can have it on your phone. And both are okay. But the convenience kind of means that the majority of people use the digital. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's got to be options.
Yeah, there has to be.
Ideally.
I think I think sometimes it's really easy for the government to just say they're giving you options, but they're not really giving you an option. And it's like, oh yeah, you have options, but if you don't do it, you're gonna be in jail. It's like, well, okay, wait a second, I don't really have an option here. But I do think, I don't know how we got on this subject. I do think that what you guys have found is that, wait a second, there are data points that's being grabbed and they're not being optimized for the information that we already have. Like that's what you guys found. Is like, if I'm understanding what you said correctly.
You're exactly right.
It's like, wait a second, we have all this data.
Yeah.
Legally, great, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But we're not using this data correctly to actually make decisions that will improve the experience of every driver.
Yep.
And so what you guys have come along and said, hey, listen, like we're going to take this and we're going to actually be able to help you guys make better decisions based off of it. We're going to decipher it and we're going to give you guys, that's pretty much the crux of what you guys are doing, if I'm understanding.
Yeah. In Australia, like one of the leading causes of death is road accident. Like it's tragic and we lose thousands of people to it.
Yeah.
And so that's not to even mention the injuries and the other kind of ripple effects. There is kind of sadly a dollar figure attached to that for a government agency. It's quite a lot of money goes into closing a road, operating all of the emergency services and the things that need to happen around that. And so it's awful to think about that as well and talk about it like that, but it is like a dollar figure that impacts as well. And so, if we can solve that even a little bit, the truth is globally, we're not really seeing road safety improve. It's not really improving. And so if we can try and move that graph sort of downward trend, a good example would be really close to where I live. There was a bus accident. A bus rolled over after a wedding. So there was a wedding in sort of wine country, and I don't know, maybe about 40, 50 people on a bus driving home. The bus went around a corner a little too fast and rolled, and I think 12 people were killed, and more were injured, and the effect of that on the community was huge. But what we saw afterwards when we looked at it was that we saw so many patterns of harsh braking in that spot, and that it was very, very clear that even though there were no records of accidents, there was no evidence to say that this was a dangerous intersection. The evidence was actually there, just that no one was looking for it. So I think when you see it like that, it would be good to leverage the data that we have to, maybe
For
stop
sure.
some of this stuff happening. Yeah.
Well, and it just kind of is like, it's, when you think of sometimes like, oh, you're just an engineer, or your dad, like, but you guys are doing like impactful work. Like, you guys are trying to save legitimate lives. And I think that has to be fulfilling for you guys.
That's awesome. Ideally we, can move faster and do more and make sure this, these kinds of safety measures are rolled out. But yeah, I don't know. I think like going back to your point about entrepreneurial kind of approaches or people that are kind of addicted to the rush, like, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't say I'm addicted to the rush. I would say like I accidentally just, now that's the way I think.
Right.
I can't help it. But if you see a problem and you can creatively solve the problem, and like, what's wrong with that? Like, of course we want to.
Yeah.
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 And if a lot of people experience a problem and you're solving it for them, then that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more of that. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's your day job, which is awesome. And you guys are growing like crazy.
Yeah.
You guys are doing a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then tell me about this side thing that this investment fund. Tell me about this. How'd you get roped into that?
So, okay, years ago, I was working in a marketing department at a university, and it was a great job. It was fine. I got sort of sucked into this project that was happening. This is like almost 10 years ago. We'd set up a startup incubator at this university, and it was sort of all about trying to find people with ideas and resourcing, helping them to take those ideas and build them out into businesses. So the way we did that, three things. We gave them space to work in, so space like this, because as you know, costs money, rent costs money. When you're a new business, or you don't even have a business, as if you can pay rent, right? The second thing was we would make sure that there were people around them to help sort of inspire and ignite those ideas, to help encourage those ideas, and collaborate together so that we could see more of that be successful. And the third thing was introduction. So wherever we can, introduce them to. So that kind of got baked into my mental process. At the time, I was building a company on the weekend because
as we
none
do,
of us can have lives. I was building I guess you would call it hospitality tech. So we would, it was like a small business could, use our software or our platform for all of their loyal customers to sort of pay lots of money in advance. And you would go into your favorite cafe, you'd have like a credit.
Oh yeah.
And you'd be able to get all of the things you wanted at a discount. The business would get more
cash flow. Yep.
Correct. So it was going quite well. We were getting customers and it was good. And I kind of was working in the same room as Angus and Emily, who started Compass, and I was like, what you're doing is so much better. It's way more impact. And I ended up jumping into their company instead because I just felt like, it was a better use of my time. But in saying all of that, I think back to the whole giving people resource and space and connecting them to each other and connecting them to people that can help them, customers or investors or whatever. In Australia, there are so many people living in kind of rural parts of Australia outside of the city. It might be like that here, but that are so disconnected from what's happening in the city. So there's a lot of cool entrepreneurial startup activity happening in cities. But if you're living out in the bush, you're working on a farm or you're doing whatever it is you're doing, you don't sort of have time to drive in all the time to Sydney or Melbourne and go to things. And maybe you've got an idea and you need investment or you need mentorship or whatever it is.
But you don't have those connections.
You don't have the time.
Yeah.
So my friends and I, we kind of saw this and we were just like, we've got to do something. And so we've just been building a network like that. And so far, we've only really been doing it for a year. And just recently, sort of, we were tracking a few of the deal flow connections that were made and realized that it's a little over 5 million Australian dollars at least has been invested in a bunch of those businesses since we started, which is
it's great.
Not heaps, but it's also like it wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting that like all that is, there's actually no mystery or science behind it other than it's just about plugging people in with each other. Like that's it. Like it's definitely not rocket science.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like no one else was doing it.
Yeah, so great. We that's so kind of on brand to even just like, I think in the past month we connected like 40 people with other people. Like, and I don't even have a business yet. I'm doing a terrible job of tracking it. But like,
It's not always about that.
You know, but it's when you create a world where people are willing to be like that's how we met. Matt Potts was like, bro,
Totally.
you got to meet Dylan. Well, you might be regretting that now, but you were like, dude, you at least for a little bit have to hang out with Dylan. And we would have never met. You would have been in Detroit if it wasn't for someone connecting us.
Yeah,
And I'm learning in business, dude. Like that's like it.
Yes.
Like if you can meet the right people,
Yes.
the money comes.
Yeah.
But it's the right relationships that just
Yeah.
help you find, like, just get to that what you need to get.
Yes. Yeah. The opportunities, connections, but like the open heart as well. It's like, let's just explore what's possible. If I can be useful, if I can be helpful, you know, instead of, and in Australian culture, it's very much like the opposite to that. We don't want to tell you what
Or like what you can do for me, kind of.
Are you going to steal my idea? Or are you going to, you know, so we're trying to like work against that. But yeah, I think you're right. Like introductions can be absolutely life-changing. You know, you might meet 100 different people and it was great, it was helpful, it was awesome, but maybe just one person that's doing something similar to you or can kind of introduce you to people that, you know, will change the game for you. That I feel like that happens all the time and it's super cool. Yeah.
Dude, that is awesome. What would you say is probably one of the more fulfilling moments so far of like everything you've done?
Being a dad is pretty good, like as you know. Yeah, I don't know if I thought that much about it growing up, but you know, when it happens, it's wild. And so for me, I was just talking to my colleagues with Investor Rural on the phone the other day. We were having a talk and we were just talking about like, you know, should we keep pushing ahead with this? Should we keep, you know, growing it? And we all agreed, we're just like, for me, if my kid grows up and doesn't have these opportunities, I feel like we will have failed. You know, it's about kind of building a world that's better for them. And it sounds super cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's super fulfilling.
It's legacy.
Yeah.
Dude, being a dad is like, it's the best. Yeah.
I think like when you see success in what you're building, it is awesome. And there are moments sometimes where you just, all the anxiety suddenly seems like it was worth it. All of the late nights, all of the, you know, perseverance seem like it's all actually, because in the moment, sometimes when you're just in it, it's hard. And it takes like that grit and resilience to keep going. And so feeling rewarded for that is super cool. And I guess if I could talk to like young me, who didn't have any successes yet or any sort of runs on the board, I'd be like, when you get that feeling, it's like nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, so those things make me happy as well, I think. But yeah, like, being a dad, family, being awesome, I just feel like, I feel very lucky.
And then, dude, I have a 3-year-old that's a daughter and then a 1-year-old that's a son. And I'm definitely like a, you know, girl dad first. Like I thought it was kind of weird because like I didn't really care. I was like super happy to have kids, but I was kind of like, I feel like I'd be able to connect to a boy better, right? You know, I'm a big sports guy. I could teach him how to play basketball, football, you know, all the American amazing sports. I don't know, you guys play like cricket? I don't really know.
You know, I was just driving around Detroit. I drove past a cricket game.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah, you're probably in like Hamtramck or something, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Dude, Detroit's like a melting pot of like, it's crazy. Yeah, we'll talk, like it's crazy. The cultures we have here is awesome. Great food, actually. That's the best thing, dude. When you have a melting pot of cultures, that means you have an amazing array of amazing food.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I thought I was like super, like I wasn't, like when we got the test results that we're getting a girl, I was like, okay, like I wasn't like bummed, but part of me was like, oh man, I kind of wanted a son, you know. Bro, now that I have a girl, it's like I can't imagine having a boy first. And in fact, I love Curtis to death. He's a 1-year-old, but like, bro, if I had to choose, give me my daughter all day. All day.
Oh no.
She's the best. And mom would probably flip the opposite. Yeah. You know. Mom and Curtis. So it's just weird because you think you're going to be so attached to, and then you have, I had the girl first, and now it's like, dude, I can't imagine not having Madeline in our life. She's just, and she has me, you know, I'm the soft one, and my wife knows it. So we've now, because she's 3 now, so she's getting smart. She now knows if she really wants something, she doesn't go to mom. She goes to dad. It's a problem. We're working on it. But dude, when she looks at you in those eyes, bro, and then it's like, oh man. So I love her to death. So she's the best. But I love Curtis too. He's finally developing a personality, and now it's like
Cute.
he's the best, man.
Yeah.
And how old are you? 2-year-old, you said?
Yeah, he's just turned 2, Max. He's obsessed with Disney cars.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a whole thing.
And my daughter went through the Disney princess thing. It was actually a really sad moment for us recently. She was really into Frozen, which is great. It's like one of my top 5 all-time favorite movies. I'm all about it. Frozen 2 is better though. So I know.
Okay.
If you've seen it.
No, that is all in my future, I would imagine.
Oh yeah. So have you seen the original Frozen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Frozen 2, infinitely better movie.
Okay.
It's the best.
Cool.
Better soundtrack, better story,
Right.
better
Yeah.
writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, quick story about Frozen 2. So one thing about me that none of my audience knows, and now you don't know, but now you guys will know, and you all make fun of me for it forever. I don't cry on like real people movies, ever.
Yeah.
For some reason, I only cry in animated movies, and I don't cry in the sad parts. I cry in like the heartwarming, like happy parts. Like if there's a reunion or if there's a father-son, then their relationship's mended, and it's animated, bro. Like there's this movie called like Homeward, I think it is, and Chris Pratt and Tom Holland voice the characters, and it's like a magic theme. And their dad dies when they're really young, and they figure out that their dad was actually a wizard, and they go through this whole journey trying to like do this enchantment to like bring their dad back. Because at the beginning of the movie, they start the enchantment with the staff, and then they like it stops working, but they only like bring half their dad back. And so they bring like just literally these legs around this whole journey trying to bring back their dad. And at the end of the movie, they finally bring back the dad, and like they get to have like a quick moment. And like when I say me and my wife were ugly crying in that movie. So anyway,
Yeah.
it's like my soft spot. So
Nice.
Frozen 2, I'm on the plane next to my boss. This is like 2020, 2021, or 2020. It was February, right before COVID hit here in America. We're going to Vegas. We had a death in the family that had just happened. So I was like a little like raw, you know, emotionally. At the end of Frozen 2, there's like a super just like heartwarming, just great moment. Dude, I just lose it. And I'm sitting next to my boss. I'm wearing headphones, and I'm just going, and he looks at me. Here I am, a 29-year-old man watching Frozen 2, sobbing my eyes out on the plane. And then he judged me forever for the rest of our life. So that's in your future. So if you cry in Frozen 2, I will not at all judge you.
Okay.
There's a safe space. You can admit it. Text me on WhatsApp.
I will. I'll let you know. We probably need to diversify the movies outside of the Cars universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lightning McQueen can get old after a while.
Yeah.
The second one's good with the spy theme,
Yeah.
but then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I've seen it 47 times.
Yes. We've seen them all a lot. I mean, we're getting our subscriptions worth for
That's
Disney
good.
Plus, but
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, if you guys have another kid, you have a daughter. That's, Frozen's up your alley. That's great, man. Well, dude, this has been fun. Yeah, we don't have plans on the podcast, but I think one of the things that I love is like we love learning about new people. You guys are doing something that I think is impactful and makes a difference. A question that I like asking to kind of wrap up shows: what's one piece of advice that you know now, or maybe a lesson that you've learned throughout the course of your career that you wish you would have known when you started, and if you would have learned this lesson earlier, you would have major benefited you?
I think I always think about confidence. And I don't know if you feel this, but when I look back and sort of reanalyze decisions or how the cards fell, I invariably come back to like, I should have backed myself. You know, I'm the kind of person that really thinks through things probably too much, likes to take all the information and kind of sit with it. And even then I tend to not back my own decisions and my own analysis. And I need to do that more. We actually, one of my things that I do in my company, we run a survey every year and we ask the whole team to basically tell us what they think of all of the leadership. And it's kind of cringy and I don't love seeing it all the time, but a lot of the feedback, especially this year that I got was like, you know, Dave's just, you know, he he's great and he's doing all of this stuff, but he just needs to stay focused and he needs to sort of back his decisions. And I think, I reckon if there's a way to get good at that, I don't know if there is, but yeah, I would definitely spend time getting better at that.
Man, I think that's great advice. I think the first step is realizing that that's something you're working on.
Yep.
And then how you actually do it, figure that out.
Yeah.
But I do think, confidence, I think imposter syndrome, you've heard of that? Like
Definitely.
That's a struggle every entrepreneur has. Every person has in some, I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Who am I kidding? Like that's how I felt in freaking the place where I met Matt. It's like, so I think a lot of people struggle with it, but
yeah, it is hard being around like really, really talented, effective, successful people, but you do grow from it.
You do.
Yeah.
You need to be there.
Totally.
Yes.
I think you're right. And anytime I've gone to introduce myself to someone so that I can learn more from them or even just thank them for, a presentation they just made or something, no one's ever pushed me away or told me
Who are
no.
you?
Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like they're always really nice about it. They're always, So yeah, I think the confidence thing and just backing yourself, I don't know, maybe it's an Australian thing, but I really think it's something that I continuously need to work on. But young Dave, I just would have said, just come on, back yourself. Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah, I think it's really good advice. I think it's really good advice. I think it's something that we're all working on. One thing I'm reminded constantly is, rising tide raises all ships.
Yes.
When you put yourself in the room with people that are more successful and better than you, you will rise to that occasion. But if I had a podcast, I was just talking to someone about this previously, but it's like, dude, if you are always the most successful person in the room, you're in the wrong room because eventually you will actually go down to that level. Whatever room that you are always finding yourself in, be careful.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you always are the one that has all the answers and you're always the one, eventually you're going to actually go down to that level.
Yeah.
And so some of the best advice that I've gotten from mentors like Dylan, put yourself in the rooms that make you uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because that's the best place you can be. And so we've made decisions to join rooms that like, I don't think I should be there.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. We're too early as an agency. All those things are swirling.
Yeah.
But then I leave and I'm like, I feel so much more equipped, hopeful.
Yeah.
And the people in my circle are just like, they want to help. And that's the thing you always think too is like the big time players, you assume that they're going to be too busy for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're not. And it's so humbling and weird, but like that is a reality that like a lot of times the big time players are actually looking for people that are hungry and wanting help.
Yeah.
And they want to help.
Yeah. Totally. And even if they don't have time, maybe they
know somebody,
can connect you to someone who does. Exactly.
Like Matt Potts. Like I view Matt, shout out Matt, you're a legend, I love you. Like Matt shouldn't be talking to me. He's made it. They've done they've had millions of people funnel through their event.
It's
like
wild.
Insane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, why are you texting me right now? You should be, you're in Bali doing your crap, right? But like I view him as a guy that's like way farther in his entrepreneur, him and his wife journey than I am.
Yeah.
But he's still like, bro, Dylan, you gotta meet David.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just the kind of people that you want to surround yourself with that have made it farther than you, but are still willing to help and hang out and encourage and give you advice.
Yep.
And it's, they're a rare breed. So shout out Matt. You're a legend.
Yep. Agreed.
Although, Matt, Dave did make it to my studio before you did. So I guess Dave is the legend in this case.
Accidentally, but very glad.
We made it.
Cool.
Bro, this is great. I always give my guests an opportunity to plug something. So where can people find you? Where can people find your company? Where can we learn more? What's an ask of the audience?
Yeah. Okay, really quick. Probably I'm here with Compass IoT this week in Detroit for a conference. It's at ITS, Intelligent Transport Systems America. Basically really keen to meet folks in transport anywhere in the States, anywhere, because we're kind of all over the world. So hit me up. We'd love to talk. But when it comes to Invest Rural, I think what we're doing there is really special. It is focused on Australia and maybe New Zealand at the moment. But if you are someone that, routinely invests in startups either as an angel or you sort of in any mechanism and you're interested in what's going on in Australia, I'd love to chat to those people too. and connect you to really, really cool innovators that are building things in the bush. We didn't really talk about any of those, but yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah, well, we can always do round 2 sometime. Yeah, we'll get you back in the States.
Sounds good.
So I'll just put any information that you give me in the description below.
Excellent.
We'll go from there.
Thanks.
Dude, thank you for coming on. I know it's kind of like a hodgepodge, fun little,
Love it.
and we ate donuts. So
Thank you. The donuts were great.
conversation was decent. Oh, I loved it. I don't know. You may
Same.
be like, Dylan, that was the worst podcast I've ever done in my life. But I had a blast and I learned a lot. And I know my listeners were going to really, really love this episode. So
Awesome.
thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Dylan England Show. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Check out Dave. Check out his company. If you know anyone in transportation, message the show and we'll make sure we get you connected to Dave. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, brother. See you guys in the next episode.